We're from the town with the great football team. We cheer the Pittsburgh Steelers.
So what actually made you get into reselling?
I think just like everybody else, just kind of supplement some income. You know, I started with sports cards, moved into antiques and collectibles. Where I am here in North Carolina is very big pottery. Like like a lot of pottery is made around here. And so any yard sale, local auction that you go to just has a ton of pottery. And when we moved out here, and that's kind of goes back to kind of some fond memories. When we moved out here, when we stayed with a relative for a while, then we moved into our own place. My parents went to auctions to buy furniture and buy stuff to on the cheap to kind of furnish the home. And so just kind of going to that and learning that and getting into collectibles just to kind of supplement some income. I mean, started with cards, moved on, got into clothing kind of by accident. Remember what it was, but I found some jacket or something like that, or I can't remember exactly what it was. Put that up and it sold pretty decently. Also in this area and basically in the South, like at the time when I was doing sports cards and trying to get into like NASCAR, anything NASCAR was like huge in the 2000s. It's kind of dropped off now, but I mean it was, you could put NASCAR and you could put Dale Earnhardt on anything and you could sell it, and so kind of transitioned to that. And I kind of did it off and on for just a number of years. I would do it for a while just to like, I need to make an extra $100 this week because like I need to buy new tires for the car or something like that. And so we'd go out to a yard sale, sell some stuff. And then kind of, after dating my wife for a while, she has a very, funny story to tell how she would come over to my house and I'd have mannequins with clothes on them. And she'd kind of be like, what kind of weird stuff are you into?
Yeah.
and explaining to her like, well, I mean, I just kind of do this as a hobby to make a little extra money. And, and we would be hanging out and the phone would cha-ching, and she'd be like, what is that? And I'd be like, oh, it's stuff I'm selling on eBay. And she kind of, but she thought it was weird. She's like, oh, you go to thrift stores and buy clothing and other people buy used clothing. And then like she at the time was into, she'd get those subscription boxes. Like, she paid like a monthly fee, get them, and she could keep the clothes. But, of course she doesn't like everything. So she started to put some of that stuff up online on her own eBay. And then she would start getting those cha-chings, and it's just a rush. Anytime you hear that cha-ching, you smile a little bit inside, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Even, after I've been doing this for, since, I want to say I've been doing this since like 2002, 2005, somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. Still, when I hear that cha-ching, it still makes me smile inside. I mean, I've been many as I've heard. So doing it with her kind of was when she's like, well, if you kind of put some real energy and focus into this could be something. I was like, yeah, but just to make a little extra money. And, and she kind of really forced me and pushed me into do something real with this. And, so pretty much about 6 months after we've been dating, we together formed a business and, basically has grown this business into 3 eBay stores, a Posh store, a flea market booth, all their online retailers, and Amazon that, I need to pay more attention to. I actually sent a bunch of stuff in this week, but it's just, it's just grown and to the point where we're looking for a brick and mortar, at some point in time. We're not there yet, but that is the focus in the next 2 years is to have a brick and mortar warehouse because buying truckloads is where I want to get to. Buying truckloads and, doing things like I love, and he don't do videos a whole lot, but when he does a bunch of them. I love Resell Rabbit. I love watching him. Like that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I want to buy pallets and open have a 1 weekend sale and make, several $1,000s in 1 weekend and then just go on a buying spree and then do it again. So that's kind of what I really want to do. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Mr. Buys a Lot's another one. It's just like I want to fill a warehouse and then just sell it. Really, it's just that's kind of the trajectory I want to get to. At one point in time, I wanted to own a flea market, but I've decided that's probably not what I want to do. So open to an auction house too. I have a friend or a guy that I work with who's an auctioneer. We talk about it every time we run into each other. We talk about the auction game, and so that's kind of the aspirations we have is to have a building at some point in time. And a warehouse.
You could kind of marry that because I know that Jeremy and George, what the hells, they do warehouse sales every once in a while where they have an auctioneer who's friends with them come out to their warehouse and they basically just people get awesome awesome deals where they auction stuff off and whatever it sells for, it sells for.
Right. And the thing that I kind of want to get more into when it comes to warehouse sales and things like that is I only see the resale community and online sales. I only see that just growing. Like I don't ever really see there a reason where online sales will dip. I think it's on the trajectory of it may not be, a straight up trajectory, but it's a good trajectory. More and more people are turning to online to buy things. Yep. And with that, there are more and more people. There's probably more people near us that do the same thing we do. We just don't know about it. And I want to cater to them. I want to buy a pallet of goods to sell to a reseller. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I want to buy 50 of one item and put that whole entire pallet up for auction, and sell it to another reseller. That's kind of where I want to get into, because I only see more people getting into reselling than getting out.
I think that's something that Mr. Buys a Lot has been doing excellently right now, is sourcing bulk of really good inventory and making it available to other resellers. So I think that being that if you're a lot further south than he is, having different people like that stationed up, think of all the different resellers that could be well taken care of and well sourced if they had that opportunity.
That's the thing. Within a 30-mile radius of me, there are 5 places that sell pallets. All right,
that's awesome.
But they don't sell them in what's the way they'll sell them in bulk, but they only sell one pallet at a time. There's one place that they buy the pallets to break them down to sell them in their store. There's another one where they buy the return pallets and they do like a bin thing. They do I think they start on Friday, everything is $7, and everything on Saturday $6, all the way up until like Tuesday where everything in the store is $1, and then Wednesday and Thursday they restock and start over again. I'm looking to buy a pallet and say, hey Anthony, I have a pallet of mixers. What do you give me for it? Hey Nate, I've got the same pallet, and try to more of which that way. They sell pallets, but they're usually mixed pallets. As resellers, what's the easiest thing to list? Mass quantity, like multiples. So if I can present to you, I've got 50 of this one item. It's one listing, or it's one shipment to Amazon, and you're done with it type thing. And so that's kind of where I want to get into, is buying multiples of one item and making it available to resellers.
That would be awesome.
Too much. Somebody might beat me to it now because I'm giving away my idea.
Well, they beat you to it. We'll go beat them up. How about that?
Yeah. But I think we've talked about this too, that there are so many opportunities to make money in the resale business that that's just one idea. There's probably 100 different ways to make money online these days. I think that's why there's YouTubers who make reselling content, because they understand. It's like, yes, I'm telling you how I make money, but there is so much money to be made. I mean, there's millions and millions of people, and more and more of them are turning to the internet to buy their goods and buy their items. And so there's just so much that it doesn't matter. Of course, their whole thing, keep your Amazon, strategy close to your chest. But, when it comes to like the eBay and things like that, there's just so much opportunity to make money that, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I know when I first started YouTube, my mom was like, are you sure you want to be telling people how to make all this money? Aren't they going to just go make the money you should be making? And I'm like, well, not necessarily, because there's tons of money out there. People just need to go get it. And the problem is there are a lot of people I've come across that they just don't want to go out there and work for X, Y, or Z. You know what I mean? If you're willing to go out there, put in the work, thrifting or doing whatever it takes, listing or whatever, you know what I mean? There's endless money to be made out.
Look at it this way, and this is a great example. Talk to anybody who's been in the storage locker business before Storage Wars, and then ask them what the attendance at the auctions was like before then. Ask them what it was like during that show, and then ask them what it's like now. People get into it because they think, oh, I'm gonna buy that for $50, but they don't realize how much work it is to empty that thing, clean it out, store the items, move it to where you want it, and then they disappear and they go away. Now, I've bought like 3 storage lockers my entire career, and it's more of a just kind of haven't had the opportunities to go to the auctions as much as I want to, because they're usually during the day, and I do have a regular full-time job. But I think people watch it on TV or watch it YouTube and say, oh, that's easy. I mean, you're due Amazon. You send the perfect product in the very first time and it's sold through like that. No, it takes some time. It takes some investment. It takes some elbow grease to get into into. And I think there are plenty of people who want to get into it, but then realize that it ain't quick money. They get out of it just as quick as they get into it.
Yep. And that's the difficult part, unless you're, really adamant about it, because there's peaks and valleys in this business. I tell people this all the time, like, well, how much money do I need before I can go full time? And really, that's just relative based on your living situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Everybody is going to be different, and there's going to be certain months you're going to crush it. You're going to be on cloud nine. You're going to think that you're like God's gift of reselling. But then there's going to be other months where you're like, man, I don't know how the heck I'm eating dinner tonight.
And the same thing, it all depends on, the products that you're going to put out there. I mean, I just sent in to Amazon. I came across at a local auction, brand new books in a brand new books. I got 21 cases of 3 books, and there's in total there's 21 cases. Each one of those books on Amazon sells for $24. I probably have less than $1 into each book. All right, I've sold 17 of those books today. They hit the warehouse yesterday. 17 of them sold today. But it came from, did I see those? I saw those books on that online auction. Went to Amazon, found out the sales rank, and knew how much the fees are going to be. So so I'm selling those books for like $23 on Amazon. And after fees, I'm making $8 a book. I bought the entire lot for $25. I made the money I made today when they went live today. I've paid for the lot and plus some. So every one of them after that is going to be just cash money. But I was amazed. I looked today, 17 of them sold today. I was like, God, of the 3 that I put up that may hit the warehouse yesterday, and each one of them sell between $23 and $18, somewhere in that price range. So it came from knowing how to look at an item and say, I think I could sell that, knowing how to sell that, using all the different, the tools available to know to sell, that is a good buy. My wife thought it was crazy to buy that many books, but when she gets home today and I show her I sold 17 of them today, she's gonna say, wow, okay.
That's the cool thing about Amazon too, is like you'll buy 17 boxes of books, and the average person will think, oh, well, that was stupid. Why would you buy all of that? And then next thing you know, the first day they're in stock, 17 of them fly out the door. And I've done that with plenty of Amazon products in the past. And the thing with Amazon is it's a completely different beast than eBay.
I'm not as versed like eBay. eBay I've got pretty down pat. Have a system. I have daily tasks that I do each day on eBay to increase sale and things like that. I know I have a pretty good understanding of the products I need. That when I see something, I have a pretty good understanding that what will sell on eBay. Amazon, man, it's such an up and down sometimes, because I bought some pet stuff not too terribly long ago, and it had a really low rank. I had a very cheap buy into it, and I sent it in, and it sat there. I ain't sold a single one of them. So and it has a really, really low rank. For some reason, it just doesn't sell, and I don't know why. So it seems like Amazon is a moving bar sometimes. Like, hey, here's the bar, and then you think you got it, and then it gets moved up a little bit higher. Then you think you got it, and a little bit higher. Amazon is tough. It's really, really tough. It's the only thing I've actually considered. Maybe if I have the time, I might end up investing into some type of mentorship or course, because it seems like every time I think I have Amazon figured out, my Amazon numbers just tank. And I don't know if I'm not doing something right or what it is, but it's the only thing that I kind of thought, well, maybe I need to take a mentorship in this, because I'm having troubles. I won't say troubles. It's just kind of, it seems like it's ever changing. It's just so hard to like get it in. And I've been trying to watch more Amazon content on YouTube, but sometimes I get distracted by the car auctions.
Yeah, I know how that goes. I've done the same thing lately.
Ooh, Deafness is live doing a card auction. No, click on that. Spirit Kicker, I'll watch you later. I understand I'll get Amazon in from it, but he might have some cards I want to buy.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been that way too, where it's kind of like taken over my world a little bit more than it probably should.
Right.
But Amazon's the same way for me, man. Like if it wasn't for Nate kind of being like my Mr. Miyagi of Amazon, I tell people this all the time, I probably would have quit Amazon already. But like luckily anytime I have an issue or I'm frustrated, I just like reach out and he talks me off the ledge. I would say recently though, within the last several months, I've kind of scaled Amazon back a little bit. That's definitely something I plan to scale back up here over the winter.
Right. My main focus on Amazon coming up soon is to, I don't know about anybody else, but like anytime I go into a store and have the mask on, I just want to get in the store and get out as soon as possible. So spending time in a store to scan for items and things like that. through this whole thing, it's just been tough to. So I've been kind of looking more on OA and trying to look more online for items sent in. I think the retail arbitrage is a lot different than the online arbitrage. Like I go to a thrift store now or something like that with a mask on, and then I get hot and sweaty, and then it's like I just want to get out. And so it's just so been tough to do kind of in store buying here lately. That my Amazon, I think that's one of the reasons. Like that number that you're supposed to is dipped way down. It's starting to come back up. I mean, I'm doing a lot more work. Like I said, I sent in a ton of stuff. These books are going to help that number go way back up too. And then I got lucky. Found these books, and it's a really obscure online auction near me that it was and I think everybody just saw a pallet of books and was like, I'm not dealing with that. And I saw a pallet of book and went, I'm dealing with all of that. And I still have some of them. I didn't send them all in yet because it's a really easy. It's the same box. It's the same weight. It's the same dimensions. I just go print a new label, and I go down to my flea market container where I have them stored at, slap a label on it, take it to the UPS store. So I'm going to refocus on Amazon again because Amazon's king right now. It's the biggest online marketplace. Unless eBay starts to get their ducks in a row and figure out that they're not Amazon and figure out what they're unique at, they can't compete with Amazon. And I hate the fact that eBay continues to try to be Amazon, and they're just not. They're not Amazon. They're the more unique items. You know what I mean? You tell anybody, what do you go to eBay for? Most people say, well, auctions, because that's their understanding of what eBay is. And eBay needs to not shade away from what their reputation is and try to become a be all end all and compete with Amazon, because they're too far behind,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because like me trying to make it in the NFL as a wide receiver, I'm too far behind now. It's never going to happen.
Exactly. In your opinion, though, what would you say is the best thing and the worst thing about eBay?
The best thing about eBay is also, to me, we kind of talked about it already, is eBay is a double-edged sword. It makes it makes a unique item more available to a wider audience, but it also makes that same audience available to you. The best thing is that it does, you could take a unique thing. Like I got a couple unique things before I came on with you. I was putting together. I told you I was uploading the video into my software. I got a couple very unique things that sold, that it's going to be in this video. So that's what it is. You find something unique, and it's automatically, I know that's going to go on eBay to sell it, type thing. The worst thing about eBay, kind of same with kind of Amazon, is it seems like their fee structure keeps kind of moving up. It's and it's kind of the pay to play. I kind of wish that if I want to sell this cell phone, I don't want to be charged 3 different fees to sell this cell phone. I want to be charged the seller's fee, a listing fee, and a shipping fee, or a shipping final value fee. I hate that. Tell me one flat fee. I sell this cell phone. Okay, my fee for selling that cell phone is X amount of dollars, and that's it. I mean, it's just kind of the fee structure to me is I wish it was more comprehensive.
Yeah, I definitely do too. It can be kind of wonky, and especially now that they're doing managed payments and they still have the bill at the end of the month too. You know what I mean? So it's man, just take it all out and let me have, you know what I mean? The money I get, let that be my money.
I think you and I do the same thing. We do the weekly payout. If I have, my store subscription and then whatever other final value fees, take it out each time an item sells. That way, that amount I see every day, that I look at every day, is what's going to be deposited in my bank account on Wednesday.
So we kind of touched on this a little bit already, but sourcing in a post-COVID world, you talked about, some online auctions and stuff like that, and even how sports cards have become more of a thing for your business. It's kind of been the same thing for me. I've kind of had to lean on the sports cards and the storage lockers just for bulk inventory. It's kind of why I think I've been more eBay recently. But yeah, with the world opening up a little bit and COVID kind of becoming less of a, I don't want to say less of a problem, because it's still a huge problem in our world.
Right. Yeah,
something a little bit more navigational for, I would say, the mass public. I think that it's going to be a good time to kind of jump back into Amazon. And I would say in the very beginning of COVID too, Amazon was killing it. You know what I mean? There was, I just released in a video today, I revealed one of the products I was making tons of money on was mac and cheese. And it's the $1 box from the dollar store. And after, when people started going out again, it completely fell through the roof and tanked hard. And that just goes to show how volatile Amazon can be.
One of the things that really was bad for me is having the little flea market booth down there is that, they immediately shut down the flea market, closed it. it was, what rent was still due. I still had to pay rent on that
Wow.
building down there. And, they were closed for like 4 months, and then summer hit, they opened the outside, but I think just people were just still kind of hesitant to go. And this whole entire summer and fall has just been, the best day I had down there was $50. The worst day I had in there pre-COVID was $50. I'm hoping this summer coming up. I mean, I've got a building down there. It's full of stuff because it's still the same thing. I kept my same buying habits.
Yeah.
I just hope things like, flea markets and things like that, especially for me having a stall or a stand down there. I really hope that this post stuff, people will return to the flea markets and back to making, the money that was making before.
Yeah. I've noticed that too as a flea market seller. I haven't gone every week like I had been previous years, just because like the people weren't as many coming back, and then B, like you said, I would be used to going making $300-400 in a day, and now I'm going, it's like, okay, am I going to be making over $100 for my time and driving to a different state?
I think too, with the economy, people weren't spending as much money. You know what I mean? I would have penny items from the Dollar General that you got from the penny sale, and at the time was making pretty decent money on it. But like even that stuff, buy it on for a penny, and you've got it for $2, and it's got a $5 price tag on it. Somebody pick it up and say, how much is this? You tell them $2, and they're like, they set it down like that's way too much money for whatever it is that you're selling. So I just think the economy kind of pinched people at flea markets and yard sales and things like that too.
I'm going to link both of your channels down below, so anybody that's watching this, make sure you go and check out Paul's channels. You'll definitely find a wealth of knowledge, not only in sports cards but in reselling, and highly recommend this guy. He's a good friend of mine. If you haven't already, make sure you check out Paul. I'd really appreciate it.